Hello everybody, and welcome to this episode of Find Out What's in Pelenta's Forrest. Grab yourself a glass of water or a cup of tea and spend the next few minutes with me. And don't forget what I always tell you. Don't believe everything you hear and check your facts. Do your own research. What that means is, don't believe everything that other people tell you just because they read it in an article. Read it for yourself. Don't you want to know what my butterflies are saying? I think you do. Don't you want to know what my butterflies are talking? This is Find Out What's in My Forest. All right, everybody. Today, we are going to be talking about freezing your sperm in case you get injured. And a lot of men are actually doing this. I am shocked. I was shocked when I found this article because a lot of people... Well, not a lot of people, but, well, actually, yeah, a lot of people. Most people that are serving our country, our military men and women, they're coming back from the war injured, and there are a lot of pelvic injuries. And these pelvic injuries in men and women are, well, it's mostly men because we're talking about men's sperm. But most of these men, you know, when they get injured in the groin area, the pelvic area, the whole 9 yards, they can't have kids, you know, because their privates are damaged, and your private area is where you build up sperm so you can make love and have a baby, you know. So a lot of men nowadays, and I thought this was very interesting and also quite smart, a lot of these men are having their sperm frozen before they enlist into the military. And a lot of men are doing it just to be on the safe side, you know. So, we're going to talk about men's health for a little bit, freezing the future, okay? Now, it says you may be able to father children now, but disease, injury, and other factors can actually change that. Well, fortunately, men now have options. They can take their sperm to the bank, literally. Okay, now a number of circumstances can motivate men to save sperm. And they want to save the sperm samples for the future, of course. Now, occasionally, men who opt for a vasectomy, they actually freeze some of their sperm before the procedure, just in case later on they decide they want to have children. Now, that's pretty smart. And it's pretty safe, too, because once you've had a vasectomy, I mean, I think I haven't done a lot of research about vasectomies, but I have heard stories of people having vasectomies, and 6 months to a year later, they've gotten somebody pregnant, and it is legitimately their kid. You just had some of that stubborn sperm in there that refused to die, and it said, "You're not going to kill me. I'm going to populate the world." You know, but a lot of the sperm actually survives. You know, but men in the military or other dangerous occupations, you know, they might want to bank their sperm in case of injury that would indeed harm their fertility. So most often, though, the need to preserve sperm arises after a cancer diagnosis. And that's because the radiation and the chemotherapy can kill the cells that produce good, healthy sperm. You know, one of the saddest things that I have seen is a man who had toxic therapy to cure cancer, and it left him infertile. You know, I mean, you're in your 20s, you know, you're having the time of your life, you figure you want to have children eventually, and now here you are, 25, 26, you've been injured in some god-awful accident, and now your fertility is in question. That's pretty sad. And some of you might say, oh, well, what's the big deal? You could adopt. There's plenty of children in this world that need a loving family. But, there are some people out there, they don't mind adopting, but they still want to have their own flesh and blood child. You see? So this is a big deal, and also too, lots of times your doctor won't even discuss the possibility of being infertile after you've had chemo and radiation treatments. So we have a doctor here named Edmund Sabanag. He's the MD director of the Center of Male Fertility at the Cleveland Clinic. And he says, if you are about to undergo any type of medical treatment, okay, that's a key word here. If you're about to undergo any type of medical treatment, ask your doctor if it will put your fertility in jeopardy. Now, if there's any questions, you can have your doctor refer you to a fertility specialist to get those specific questions answered for you. Now, sperm can be banked by anyone old enough to produce sperm. Now, sperm usually starts around the age of 13, believe it or not. Yes, that sounds young, but this is a fact. So before banking your sperm, you will need to abstain from ejaculating for at least 3 days to be able to produce a sizable amount. So, and if some of you don't know the proper term for masturbating, it's ejaculating. So don't masturbate for at least 3 days because you have to get all of that good, healthy sperm build up. And if you're sitting around all day masturbating, it's not going to happen. So what will happen when you go to get this test done, you will actually masturbate into a sterile container at a clinic or at home. Now, most people probably rather do it at home because, going to a clinic, it's so unpersonal, and, the comforts of your own home would probably, work better and you'd be more comfortable. But after this takes place, the staff will analyze your sperm. Now, men with a healthy number of sperm normally need to produce 1 to 2 samples. Now, if your sperm counts are low, you might have to provide 5 or 6 samples. Okay. Now, the sample is mixed with liquid nitrogen to freeze it. And then a process called cryopreservation is what's keeping your sperm frozen. And they're doing that now for other illnesses too. I think it's called cryonics. Cryonics. CRYO onyx. Okay, so look that up because it's very interesting too. But, but sperm bank staff will then thaw a very small specimen to test whether your sperm has actually survived the freezing. Okay, because there's no guarantee that the first try is going to be successful. So on the average, you'll lose about 50% of the viable sperm in a freeze. But once that stored up sperm swims or moves normally, then it stays fresh, and it could be frozen for up to 20 years. So most insurance companies will likely pay for the procedure when it's done, for fertility preservation, especially during cancer treatment. But fees vary depending on the facility that you choose. But if your insurance does not cover the sperm banking, expect to pay $500 initially and then $400 more each year to cover storage costs, which include monitoring, computer staff, security, and backup and storage. So that is your freezing the future sperm bank education for today. But it's just a lot of things aren't talked about medically because people are too embarrassed to bring up certain you know, certain topics because people still get a little giggly and silly about these things. But, you know, your health is very important, and you have to look at all aspects of everything, especially the way the world is now. You know, we have, you know, poisons in our food, poisons in the air. You know, several days ago, I was outside and looking up at the sky, and I don't know why, but there were 4 planes zooming around the sky, just drawing all kinds of lines and X's and crosses and the whole 9 yards. So I actually did call the airport and say, hey, you know, what's going on over here? You know, but of course they wouldn't act like I was crazy. They wouldn't tell me anything. So, you know, just, you know, you can't cover all bases. You can try, but just be careful, be wise, be vigilant, and more than anything, please put your health first. Go to the doctor, get a physical, have some tests run, and keep your health in your line of positive sight. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I am so very grateful for everything, and I am grateful for you too. So you can go to anywhere, Yahoo, computer, books.com, anywhere, and you can purchase my book. And don't just purchase it, read it. It's a very good book. Lots of positive, healthy stories that will make you laugh, make you cry, make you smile, make you question everything that you think is real, and it'll make you feel happy. So on that note, everybody, have a great day. Go out into the world, say a kind word to somebody, do something nice for somebody. I guarantee it'll make you feel better. So thank you for watching. See you later.